to my YouTube channel. Congratulations to you for clicking on this particular video, because in this video I'm going to list out the most repeated topics that JAMB has been setting for over 30 years. From my 10 years of experience as a teacher and from the fact that I've gathered for over 30 years from the past question, I've come to realize that JAMB cannot do without these topics I'm going to list out here. So if you watch this video to the end, you're going to see the important topics you need to know. Apart from these 20 topics listed here, there are some ones that JAMB cannot do without every single year from my analysis. And these are the things I use for my students, and they comes out successfully. Even if you don't know physics as a subject, even if you have phobia for physics, by the time I use these topics to analyze things for you, there is no way you enter the hall and you score less than 80. That is just the fact. I want you to watch this video to the end so that you can have a focus on where to read. If you concentrate on this topic that I've listed here, then the rest of the topic is what is a walkover, because you're sure of seeing about 30-something questions from these particular topics, because in a particular topic, JAMB can even set more than one question from a particular topic. So this is what I'm talking about. With no further ado, let's get right into the video. Number one is measurement. What do you know about measurement? JAMB will not ask you what are fundamental quantities, what are derived quantities. No. What are they going to ask you? Which of the following are examples of fundamental quantities? Or the following are derived quantities, except, you see this kind of thing. So you should know what are derived quantities, what are fundamental quantities, with their examples and their signs, because this is what JAMB is going to ask you. Okay, now under the same measurement, you should know what is dimension of physical quantities. Very important. Under dimension, you should know that the three things or the three main fundamental quantities that we use for dimension, they are what? The length, the mass, and the time. Okay, now you should know how they get the dimension of physical quantities. Is that clear? You should know the dimension of quantities like electromotive force, moment of a couple, momentum, impulse. All these things you should know their dimension. Stress, surface tension. Now you don't even need to cram to know their dimension. You should learn how did they come about these quantities we are mentioning. If you know what is the definition of surface tension, okay, that is the force acting on a liquid per unit length. That means surface tension is force over length. If you know that surface tension is force over length, it will give me a clue to know what is dimension of force and dimension of length. Do we understand? So this is one thing you must know about what? Measurement. If you know all of this, then you should also know the reading of the vernier caliper and micrometer screw gauge and meter rule. Know how to read it. In case they give you a diagram under measurement, you are going to learn how to read it. That is very important. Now if you don't know how to read it, if you don't know how to get the dimension of certain quantities, I've done it on my channel. You can check it where I did measurement of physical quantities. Number two is motion. Under motion, you should know the types of motion: the linear motion, oscillatory, random, and rotational. Very important. With their example, JAMB might not even ask you linear motion. What are rotational motion? See what they are going to ask you. He said the woman in a crowded market observe what kind of motion? You see their question. Okay, now they can even ask you that the wheel of a moving car possesses, is it rotational, is it linear, is it random, is it oscillatory? See the kind of question that they ask you. So you should have a knowledge of motion with the examples of the motion and also how to apply it. So they will ask you applied question, of which when you sit down and visualize, you're going to see the answer. So this is the kind of question that JAMB normally asks on motion. Then under motion, you should also know the equations of uniformly accelerated motion. That equation is very important, because that equation will help you to know the motion under gravity. Very important. They don't do without bringing out question on this particular thing every single year. Do you get it? Now you should also know the velocity time graph. Velocity time graph. This velocity time graph will help you to know the linear acceleration, the deceleration, the total distance traveled. You must know that, because they can give you a graph and ask you to get this shape shows this. From here to here, it shows what? You should know that. So all these are classified under motion. So the number 3 is what? Scalars and vectors. They normally bring it every year. which of the following are scalar quantities, which of the following are vector quantities. Do you understand? They can even use the knowledge of scalars and vectors to ask you question on linear momentum. Okay, so because if you have two forces acting at a point, we can resolve them into horizontal and vertical components. So you must not forget that the horizontal component of the vector goes with cos and vertical component of the vector goes with sine. So you must learn how to resolve a vector to horizontal and vertical components. Very, very important. Now the next topic I'm going to talk about is machines. That's number 4. Machines, they don't do without setting machine every single day. So you should know the load, the effort, the mechanical advantage, the velocity ratio. And also, to solve problems involving machines, you must not forget different types of machine with their velocity ratios. Very, very important. Okay, as you prepare for this jam, this topic is very, very important. If you go through the past question and solve problems on this particular topic I'm mentioning, now you'll be shocked what will happen in the exam hall. Now the next, simple harmonic motion. You should know this simple harmonic motion because this topic went into circular motion. We have centripetal force, we have centripetal acceleration, okay, we have angular velocity, we have angular speed, we also have linear speed, we have acceleration. So anything that involves a motion moving in a circle, that is simple harmonic what? Motion. They can even ask you, a motion is simple harmonic if this is the kind of question that they ask. Okay, now the next thing we're going to look at is what? Moment and density. Moment and density. You must not forget that the moment of a force is equal to what? The force multiplied by the perpendicular distance. Very, very important. And also density. Under density, you should know what is obtuse, what is relative density, Archimedes principle. Okay, that these are the things you must note in this particular topic. Now the next is gas laws. What are gas laws? We have the Boyle's law, the Charles law, the general gas law, and the questions associated with them. Now they can even tell you under gas laws that this equation p raised to the power of x, v raised to the power of y, and t raised to the power of z equals Boyle's law or equals constant. Find the values of x, y, and z. This is the kind of question that JAMB asks. So if you understand the taxes and the topic that they repeat, you see it's very easy for you to focus on that, grab what you want, go to the exam hall, smash it, and come out successfully. That is just it. The next one is momentum and impulse. Under momentum and impulse, you should know the Newton's first law, second law, and third law, and the conservation of linear momentum, the application, the formulas. Okay, if two bodies are moving towards each other and they collided, you should know how to get their common velocity. Very, very important. And also a body in a lift, if a body is going up or coming down, is it moving towards the force of gravity, is it moving against the force of gravity? You should know the weight of a body in a lift. Okay, number 9 topic is waves. What are waves? The thing that JAMB will ask you under this wave is what? Which of the following are mechanical waves? Or sound waves requires material medium because they are. Do you understand? They can ask you mechanical and electromagnetic wave perform the same properties because they are. These are the questions they can ask you under waves. Okay, you should know the relationship connecting the frequency, the wavelength, and the speed of the wave. Very, very important. The properties of wave, these are the way they ask question every single year. You must know that. Then the 10th one is reflection. Reflection is the throwing off of light from a smooth or polished surface. Under this topic, they can draw a diagram and tell you that this is what? Angle of reflection. Find this angle of incidence, or find the glassing angle, or find the angle of rotation, or find this one, or find that one. These are the things they ask you under reflection. The laws of reflection, the characteristics of images formed by a plane mirror, and also the mirror formula 1 over f equals 1 over u plus 1 over v. Then you must not forget how to draw construction of ray diagram of a plane mirror, concave and convex mirror. Very, very important, because that calculation there is what they are going to ask you. If you learn that calculation and learn that if it's a concave mirror, focal length is positive, but if it's a convex mirror, focal length is negative, that will give you an in-depth knowledge to understand that topic proper. Now the next topic I'm going to look at is what? Refraction. Now what are refraction? You must know that under refraction, as light changing from one medium to another, there is a change in the direction. Okay, and the one thing they will ask you is this: real and apparent depth. Very, very important. And also lateral shift or lateral displacement. Okay, you must know the law of refraction. You must also know the construction of lens. a convex lens and a concave lens, how to construct the ray diagram of a concave and a convex lens. Very important. And the lens formula, even though it's the same as the mirror formula, but you must note which one is positive and which one is negative. Very, very important. Okay. The next we are going to look is temperature measurement. What are you supposed to know on temperature measurement? The upper fixed point, the lower fixed point, and the different types of temperature scales. How to convert from Celsius to Kelvin, from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And in most cases, you might even have a scale that is measured in millimeters or measured in ohms. So you should know how to convert it from this ohms scale to Celsius scale, how to compare them. And also you can went into what specific heat capacity. They normally bring questions from there. Then the next one is sound waves. Under sound wave, you should know what the properties of sound, the things that affect sound, the characteristics of sound, reflection of sound, that is echo. You should know echo, formulas of echo. They bring it every single year. Okay, you should also know that the factors affecting the frequency of a stretched string, that is sonometer. And also the open and closed pipe, you should know that one. Then the next one is current electricity. JAMB don't play with this particular topic. Current electricity. Under it, you're going to see Ohm's law, the EMF of a cell, internal resistance, terminal PD. They ask it every single year. So you must master all the topics on this and go through past questions to review it. I have done most of this topic in my channel, so you can go there and look at how they set questions. After watching it, it can give you an edge to focus on your past question, to understand better when you see a question. Alright, then the next one is electric field. Under electric field, they normally go into what? Capacitors and capacitance, series and parallel arrangement, the work done in a capacitance, and also electric field intensity. Very, very important. Okay, then the next is electric energy and power, buying and selling of electrical energy. Very, very important. They don't miss it every single year. They don't miss it every single year. So these are the things you must know. What is energy? What is power? You know they are related. Okay, so when you buy and sell energy, now how do you calculate that? You can check up on my channel where I did electrical energy consumption. Okay, then the next is simple AC circuit. If you have been reading and you've not come across question on simple AC circuit, that means you need to start, because you've not yet started. JAMB has repeated this topic virtually every single year. So what you are going to read in this topic, you should know what is the root mean square, the peak value, okay, the resistance and the AC circuits, capacitance, inductance. When they are connected, we have RLC, we have RL, we have RC. Okay, resonance in this topic. When resonance says to occur, so at resonance, what happened? These are things that JAMB is going to ask you in this topic. Now, the next one is what? Energy quantization. You must not forget that electron gets quantized and they jump from one level to what? Another. So as they drop back to their original state, they are going to emit an energy, and that is the energy that JAMB is going to ask you. If an electron jumps from one energy level to another, what is the energy transition, or what is the change in the energy state? Do we understand? This is what the JAMB is going to ask you. You must not forget that as the electron is jumping from one energy level to another, they're actually doing what? Work, which is the work function that JAMB is going to ask you. Now the next is radioactivity. Under radioactivity, JAMB is going to ask you the first man that discovered the phenomenon of radioactivity. That is the first question you should expect from there, is Henry Becquerel. So that is what it's going to ask you. Then also, when an element emits alpha particles, find the new substance form. When an element emits beta particles, what's the new element form? So these are the things you must know. The binding energy, very, very what? Important. The last but not the least is semiconductors. You know what are semiconductors? The p-type semiconductors, the n-type semiconductors, the p-n junction, the carriers of electricity in semiconductors, the carriers of electricity in metals. These are the topics you must know as you prepare for this JAMB. Despite all these topics that I have run down for you, there are these particular topics that JAMB cannot do without. They repeat these topics every single year. Despite these ones have been repeated, there are some topics that have been most repeated. So they are the ones I asterisk, so that you focus more on those ones, because every single you must see questions on those topics. Now look at them. We have the measurement, motion, scalars and vectors, machines. We have reflection, waves. Waves is among waves. We have refraction. We have sound waves, current electricity, electric energy and power, simple AC circuits, energy quantization, and radioactivity. Now these ones that have asterisk, very very important. As you go about preparing for this exam, don't play with this topic. As you prepare for this JAMB, if you follow this instruction and these ones that have asterisk, you're going to thank me later after your JAMB that this thing I said is true, because this is the experience over the years. I'm a student that has been scoring 80, 90 something and above. If you follow this track and master all these topics I've listed and these key ones that I said that they must come out, you'll be shocked. After your exam, you're going to see it on that day. If you do all of this I've said in this video, the scale is just your starting point. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you're watching this channel for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification button to get notified each time I post videos. And lastly, do not forget to share so that other students that are preparing for this forthcoming exam can see it and watch from it. I'll see you next time in the next one. Bye for now.